See these two lenses here? Well, they're the same lens. They're identical. They're brand new. They have the same firmware. It's the same thing. But they're not performing the same. Not even close. So we're going to find out what's going on here, and I'll tell you the story. I don't know if this is a quality control thing, but I have heard some reports of these type of issues. Let's have a look. Welcome back, friends. Well, today, yes, we're looking at two of the exact same lenses, and in this case it's the Samyang AF f1.4 and it's the AF series. I have done a full review on this lens. You may have seen it. If not, it's going to be up there somewhere. I'll link to it if you want, but you know my thoughts. It's a great lens. It's a phenomenal lens. Incredible performance. It's got out of this world value. It's a great lens, but some people have reported some issues with these lenses. And it just so happens that I've gotten the opportunity to have two in my possession at the same time. So I thought that why not do some tests? And considering the newer one that I've just got, and these are only probably a few weeks apart, the newer one's experiencing some of these issues that people are complaining about. So let's kind of jump in and look at some of these things and some differences. And to be honest, it's a bit shocking. It's quite not what you really would think of a lens that's, you know, almost $1,000. Let's have a look. So we're going to have a quick look at the optics and the sharpness and contrast and the differences between these two lenses. So here we are in Lightroom, and you can see the differences. On the left here is lens 1 and on the right is lens 2. So right off the bat in the middle, both lenses you can see are fairly sharp. The left has just a little bit of an advantage, and the contrast on the left lens, lens 1, is definitely a little bit better. And if we look at the top corners and the edges here, you can see that lens 1 has a clear advantage. It's much sharper in the corners, and this is just a bit surprising. Although it does have a little bit more chromatic aberration, as you see here, and that's just a bit surprising. This is wide open at 1.4, and of course we buy a lens like this because we want to be able to shoot wide open at 1.4, but it's just a bit surprising to see such a dramatic difference in the corners here. So let's stop down next. So now here we're stopped down a little bit at 2.8, and again if we look at the center of the image, again the left, or lens 1, does have a little bit of an advantage, and again the contrast as well. And if we look at the corners, once again it's a little bit better, but the edge does go to lens 1 again. Also, the chromatic aberration is a little bit heavier on lens 1 too. And now we've stopped way down to f9, and we're going to have a look once again into the center. And as you can see here, just a little bit sharper with lens 1 here on the left. And if we go up to the corners, also very close now, but just a little bit more sharpness. And yeah, it's got a little bit more chromatic aberration still at f9 here. So as you can see, the biggest difference at f1.4, where we really want to have as much sharpness as we can. Of course, when we pay for this type of lens, we want to be able to shoot wide open. But it is a bit surprising to see the differences, and lens 2 there never really caught up in terms of sharpness. And also when it comes to vignetting and distortion, these lenses are basically identical. Now here I am testing the autofocus, which is where the majority of the complaints come from, and I'm testing for accuracy, responsiveness, and the sound of the autofocus, which you'll hear in a second. Now it is raining, so you can hear a bit of the water noise, but do listen for the audible clicks and ticks that you can hear from the autofocus. So you can hear a little bit of noise from both of these lenses' autofocus systems, and really it's nothing to write home about. This is plus 20 dB. To be honest, it really doesn't bother me in any situation, and I have filmed video with it. As far as responsiveness and accuracy, I found that lens 1 was a little bit better in my books, and there's nothing really scientific about this. It's more of just how kind of it felt to me and what you can see here in the video. As far as the autofocus for pictures, I find it quite a bit better. On both lenses, they're quite responsive. On lens 2, I did find that when it hit focus, there was a little bit more of a kind of a clunk or a little bit of a click, whereas in lens 1, it was just more fluid. And that was a definite thing that I noticed between the two. So both of them, again, very good in the stills aspects of things, but there was definitely more noise in lenses 2 finding focus, just that extra little click. Now, as far as a complete and total catastrophic autofocus failure, I did have this happen to me while I was out for a shoot with my family. We were just out in a field and I was shooting some stills, and all of a sudden it almost basically disconnected from my entire camera and kind of went into manual mode but started kind of going back and forth. It was very strange, and I was able to catch it on video as you see here, and I couldn't even stop the actual video from recording. It actually just completely shut me out of everything. So that is a little bit worrying. I don't like to see that. And that was with the newer lens too. So really this lens has nothing going for it. Lens 1, and not a single problem. I had shot in a heck of a lot more video and taken a lot more pictures with it with absolutely no issues whatsoever. It's kind of looking like lens 2 just might be a lemon. So having gone over a few things about this lens, I have to say I still love this thing. I really enjoy shooting with it. I think it's great. My copy was originally very, very good, and I do have that full review. If you guys want to see that, definitely check it out. But when do you get to compare two of the same lenses? Not very often, so I'm glad I did this. I did actually reach out to Samyang about these issues, and I'm not holding my breath, but you never know. It's good to put it out there, and I hope this sheds some light on there for you guys. And if you are considering maybe picking up this lens, maybe consider a warranty, an extended warranty, because although there has been reports of these, I don't think every lens is going to suffer with this. But all in all, it's a great lens, and I'm going to leave you in a minute here with just some of the pictures that I've taken with it, and even on that day when that autofocus crapped out on me, so you can see what it's all about. But if you want to pick up this lens, I'll leave an affiliate link in the description for you guys. Check out my review if you want to see more. And of course, like always, make mistakes, be yourself, and get out there and take some more pictures. See you next time.